fight fans, the only site you need for MMA news. I'm Susan Cingari, and joining me is Mike King. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Fine, thanks. So, Mike, you have a big fight coming up next week in Ireland. How's training camp going along?
Yeah, it's going great. I'm starting to peak now. Weight's under control. It's coming down to where it needs to be, and it's just the final last few days before we fly out. And I'm feeling fast. I'm feeling powerful, and I'm ready to go.
Pendred was a teammate of yours on the Ultimate Fighter House this year. How does that change your game plan at all, being the fact that you lived in a room with him? Does it have any effect on you at all?
No, this is an individual sport, and it's, you obviously at the top level of each sport, you're going to have relationships with the people that you're competing against. But at the end of the day, it's business, and in my opinion, it's either he eats or I eat, and I'm sorry to say, but I'm going to be the one that's eating.
You sound like you're the hungrier fighter. Is that what you're telling me?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I was trying to play with that a little bit.
I like that. Any extra pressure, because this is really in Pendred's backyard, this fight?
Yeah, no. For me personally, I kind of like the opportunity of going into somebody else's hometown. Speaking from experience, it's always much more difficult to fight in front of friends and family than it is to go to unknown territory. So, in my opinion, most of the pressure is on him to perform. So I'm excited to go to Dublin. It's somewhere I've always wanted to be, and I can't wait. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be a fun card. You got Conor McGregor. Yeah. He's headlining. It's his first fight back in a long time. So, I mean, there's a lot of hype behind this fight, and I can't wait to get out there and show the world what I can do.
And you have your fellow teammate, Brad Pickett, that I have a news report coming out next week also on the card, which will be exciting to fight against Ian. According to a news report from the Daily Mirror in England, Pendred says that you were the diva of the house. What's up with that? Explain that to me.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the long hair.
Oh, okay.
So when I wake up in the morning, I have things I have to do. I've got leave-in conditioner. I've got to brush my hair. I got to comb things. I've got a beard that I like to keep nice and trim, and I just think he's a little upset because he's bald and I've got long hair.
Okay, I like that. When looking at the fight on paper, you're clearly the heavier fighter, meaning that he's coming up from a welterweight. How does that factor into the fight for you as all?
Yeah, especially for, I have a bully style. I like to go in and move forward and put a lot of pressure on my opponents. So it plays in perfectly into my style, being the bigger, more aggressive guy. But for him, he also has that same type of style. So to be the smaller fighter coming in with that type of style is going to be it's a bad matchup for him. He's said a lot of things that he thinks he's the better fighter, and he thinks that he's going to walk through me because it's his debut in Dublin, and he thinks that's going to be to his benefit. But I see it completely opposite. I think it's going to be a lot of pressure, and once I grab a hold of him, he's going to know that he's in a fight.
So you're not buying into the trash talk, is what you're telling me?
Not at all. See, this is something I actually got. I understand him a little better than maybe some opponents would, because I did get to live with him, and he told me, months ago that he really likes to play the mental game. So I knew going into this, everything that he said on the media was simply something that he was trying to produce and kind of create some hype behind him. So everything he said, I know it's fake, and I know that he's just trying to make himself feel more comfortable when it comes to July 19th.
And Pendred has been quoted as saying, and I'm going to read you what he says to you, "The minute I was told Mike was my opponent, my friendship with him ceased. Until July 19th, he is neither a friend to me or even a person. He's just an obstacle standing in the way of my dream, an obstacle that I will get through undoubtedly." What is your response to that?
Coming from a wrestling background, I've competed at the top levels when it comes to wrestling. And like I said earlier, especially in one-on-one sports, you get to know people on a personal level because you compete with them on a regular basis. So for me, I think that's a pretty ignorant statement. You don't have to not be friends with someone to fight them or to wrestle them. And for him to say that, it shows that he's actually kind of a weak-minded person. You know, we have 15 minutes in between bells, and if you can't put your friendship aside and stay friends throughout, you know, the beginning and the end of the fight, then that's your issue. That's something that, you know, that's a flaw in his character. And I'm going to look to exploit that, because I think he is a weak-minded fighter. And, you know, I think he's in it more for the fame and the money, and I'm in it simply to be the best. Okay. And that's going to be a big thing that, you know, once I'm putting hands on him and once I grab a hold of him, he's gonna know that he's in a fight, and that fame and that money isn't going to be something that's going to push him through the end of the fight.
You had a nasty eye injury, but pushed through that in your fight. How's your eye? It looks like it's healed up pretty well now.
Yeah, I'm back to 100%.
Right.
I had to do some physical therapy stuff for it. I did have some problems with my sight for a few months, like some reoccurring stuff that was happening. But now it's all cleared up. I'm back to 100%. I'm ready to go, and that's not going to be an issue for me at all. What
can the fans expect to see when they tune in for this fight then?
Yeah, if they watch the show at all, obviously my fight to get in the house against Nordine Talib was the best fight, in my opinion, of the whole season. You're going to see a bigger, faster, more well-rounded version of that guy. The fights in the house, you know, it's not really a fight camp, and it's not optimal training. You know, the procedures and the process isn't optimal in terms of weight cutting. And I'm a big 185-pounder, so that was a problem for me throughout the season. But now, you know, I've got a whole fight camp behind me. I was able to train with my real training partners and my real coaches. I was able to be on my actual diet instead of having someone else buy my food for me. So it's going to be a bigger, stronger, leaner, faster Mike King, and I just don't think that you know, Call is going to be able to keep up with that guy.
Now we have some questions from Twitter. The first one comes from MMA Fight Fans. Doug wants to know, how was Dana White in person?
Oh, Dana, you know, he's actually a really, really nice guy. He truly cares about his fighters. Obviously, it's business first, and if you do the wrong things or say the wrong things, he's going to come down hard on you just like any boss would. But Dana's an awesome guy. He's if you go out and fight the way he wants people to fight, he is in your corner 100%.
The next question also comes from Doug at MMA Fight Fans. Doug wants to know, any extra motivation to win this fight after watching the Tough 19 finale?
Yeah, 100%. Watching Eddie win the finale, knowing that, you know, a lot of people may have said that I won the first 2 rounds and should have won that fight. And then also being poked in the eye and not being able to perform at my true ability. And then watching him win, you know, I felt like that could have been me there. And you know, that was motivation enough to get through this next fight, because I would eventually like maybe meeting up with Eddie again in the future.
Oh, that would be a good one. I'd like to see that one for sure. And I think the fans would love to see that one for sure. We have another question from Twitter. Badass1972 wants to know, what are your fight plans for 2014-15? Are you going to stay at your current weight class or move up or down? And do you have any title goals?
Yeah, I'm going to stay at 185 pounds. Before the show, I had actually only had one fight at 185 pounds. I had fought 3 of my professional fights at 205, and it was a gradual plan for me to get to 185. This is an optimal weight for me. It's a weight that I can kind of touch down at weigh-ins and then be able to come right back up and be heavier once we get in the cage. You know, I have toyed around with maybe cutting to 170 pounds, and I think it is a possibility, but I don't know what the risk reward would be. Am I going to lose too much strength, that kind of thing? So, you know, 185 pounds is going to be my weight. I'm currently undefeated right now, even though everybody saw me lose a fight, which is an exhibition fight. If I could reel off maybe 2 or 3, 4 wins in a row here in the UFC, I feel like in 2015 I could be competing for a title.
Our next question comes from VVV Fight Company. He wants to know, hi Mike, how long did it take to reach your dreams and get to the high level you're at?
I've been fighting as a professional for 3 years. So actually, you know, that's pretty quick. If you watch a lot of people, if you look at a lot of people's records, you know, it's typically 5, 6 years before they can get to the UFC. But I haven't accomplished my goals yet. The UFC was simply a stepping stone, and my ultimate goal is, and my ultimate dream is to win a world title, and that's all I'm focused on now. You know, it's time to switch gears and start moving towards that goal.
We have a question now from Brad. Brad wants to know, this is a follow-up question to the other Twitter question we had. Mike, have you reached your dream? I think you will keep pushing on.
Yeah, no, I agree with Brad. My goal is a world title, and that's obviously what I'm striving for. So, like he said, I'm going to continue to push on until I get that title.
Our final question tonight comes from, again, VVV Fight Company. He wants to know, the process is part of the dream. What is your best experience so far?
So far, this is silly to say, but it's actually happened in my amateur career. I won it was a national amateur tournament, and it was a national title. So I've had a little taste of what having a world title feels like, and I want another one. So, you know, obviously doing the Ultimate Fighter was fun, but in terms of what, you know, has fueled me or what I feel is my greatest accomplishment has been that amateur world title.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to thank one of my sponsors, Zookie's Bar and Grill. I'd like to thank Josh Marzuko personally. He's been there from the beginning. He actually started sponsoring before I was even a professional fighter. He saw something in me, and he kind of opened his family and you know, their family restaurant to me. They've been helping me a lot. I'd also like to thank the DeSaro family of CrossFit Redline. Great people. They've actually, you know, they've opened their arms up and they treat me like I'm one of their own. And I'd also like to thank Sports Foods. It's an electrolyte company. They've got a really cool product, especially for guys that are cutting weight and we have to watch water consumption. It's a way to get potassium and stuff like that into our system. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Team Titan. It's an apparel company, and they've got a really cool brand of weighted apparel out there.
Very cool. Mike King, I wish you good luck at UFC Fight Night 46. I look forward to seeing you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Susan. Have a good one.
You're watching MMAFightFans.com, the website for MMA fans. I'm Susan Cingari. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next time. And remember, every fighter has a story.